Dominated the race very much. Peter Brock finishing second and Dick Johnson third. Let's run through the form. How do you see Bauer's chances today?
Always good. He's on the pole again because he won that race yesterday. He gets pretty good starts. Sometimes he bogs it, but they're getting better and better. He gets pretty good starts. If he's away and into the first corner first, very hard to beat.
Peter Brock?
Brock hasn't been getting away as well when he starts, and having said all of that, I'm quite sure he'll be first in the first corner. But he'll always be there. But Dick, I think, who's third, will be... he was on a charge yesterday. He caught the field. He caught the leaders in front of him as against just trailed along behind them. So I think Dick's got the eyes on this weekend. He could certainly be one to watch. And Brock has got the problem of while he's trying to line up Bauer, if they get away 1, 2, 3, he's going to be attacked from behind. So he's going to defend a little bit while he's trying to attack Bowie.
Great performance from Alan Jones.
Yeah, Jonesy came through also yesterday, ducked the spinning cars in front of him. He'll certainly be trying to repeat the effort last time though here in '94, where he led the race for quite a long time. He's certainly in a good spot.
What about Larry Perkins?
Well, the Larrikin traditionally comes on to his real form at the end of the year when Sandown Bathurst is on. But having said that, he's a great competitor, Larry, and if there are any holes, he'll be in there for sure.
Well, the Master Peter Brock is on the second grid position. What about the Master's apprentice, Craig Lowndes?
Hasn't really come to grips with this place, Craig. I don't know why, but I guess it's a new track to him. But then professional race car drivers should pick up new tracks, within half an hour of practice, and he hasn't quite come to grips with it yet, but who knows, today could be the day.
Another couple of guys to watch are Mark Scaife and Tony Longhurst. Mark Scaife set fastest time here in practice, started on pole yesterday. What happened, Alan?
Well, they certainly came together. He and Longhurst came together on a corner and both spun and had to rejoin the field, I think in about 12th and 16th positions from memory. Could be a little bit of payback time today, who knows?
Okay. Well, they're getting set for the warm-up lap in this Group A touring car race. Tyres, a big factor around here?
Yes, although the race has been shortened to 6 laps, won't make all that much difference. The Bridgestone's traditionally a little slower to come up to temperature, and that could give the Dunlop runners, which is Bow and Dick and Johnson, and then behind him Perkins. There they are, 1, 2, 3 on the right-hand side of Dunlop, and 1, 2, 3 on the left-hand side of Bridgestone. Could give the Dunlop runners a little bit of a run for that first couple, an advantage for that first couple of laps, and that could be the race.
This is not a round of the Australian Touring Car Championship. It's a one-off event, but we've got Bow, of course, who's leading the championship at the moment. And, Lowndes is leading the championship from Bow. Glenn Seaton back there in third spot, but not having a great weekend. Blew an engine here on Friday.
Yes, and again, he's on Bridgestone tyres, so they'll take a couple of laps to come in. Although having said that, knowing that it's a sprint, they may well have pulled out the softer compound. They are still on a controlled tyre situation here, but some of the drivers I know went for one hard set and one soft set, so it'll be interesting to see which ones they're running today.
Great shot of that jumbo jet flying up the coast to Surfers Paradise. It's Qantas Jet, who are a major sponsor of the Bartercard IndyCar Carnival here, and have supported it too, Alan, for the 6 years of the event.
Yes, indeed. It's a official flight past. We've seen a wonderful air show here today with helicopters and jets and even an old MiG, but it's part of the fly past here today, part of the carnival. It's all happening.
Peter Brock strapping himself into the 05 Mobile Commodore and getting ready to start from that front row of the grid. Talking to the crew.
I've got a set of soft tyres on for the day we can over here. Yes, so that's the answer. I was wondering about the hard Bridgestone tyres, but Brocky has just let it slip while he's talking in the car. There he's got the soft tyres on. That should help him off the line. Maybe he gets the jump into the corner.
Well, Australian motorsport fans love their Fords, love their Holdens, but how different, Alan Grice, is a Holden race car to a Holden road car? Well, let's have a look at the weight of a Holden road car. 1,400 kilos, race car?
1,350 now. They've gone up another 50 kilos.
Body shells, standard road car?
Yeah, very similar. Some extra seam welding, a little bit of change to the inner rear guard, but essentially, certainly in shape-wise, they're the same.
Fuel tank capacity, 80 litres for a Holden road car.
Yeah, 120 in a race car because they don't use, they're not terribly economical.
In terms of ground clearance, of course, a road car, 143 millimetres, but here's a big difference.
Right down around 60 millimetres, Craig.
Top speed, 200 k's in a Commodore road car?
Oh, as fast as you possibly can, but certainly around 300 k's at Bathurst.
Around $37,000, $38,000 for a road car. What would you pay for a Group A touring car Commodore?
From $250 to $350, the top running cars would be about $300,000 to $350,000 each without any spares.
Now, what about warranty? 2 years on the Holden Commodore. What about the race car?
As soon as the last spanner comes off the car, the warranty ceases.
Okay. Thank you, Alan Grice. Well, they're standing by for the warm-up lap of this now 6-lap event for Group A touring cars. You can see that Dickie Johnson's given the clutch a big slip and burnt the rear tyres to get some heat into those rears, ready for this start as they go on their one and only warm-up lap. And a great shot too as John Bowe leads Peter Brock. We'll run through the cars for you. Dick Johnson there, Alan Jones. You've then got Larry Perkins, Craig Lowndes, Glenn Seaton. I think that's Russell Ingall, followed by Mark Scaife, then Tony Longhurst, Stephen Richards, and Bradley Jones in the Commodore.
Yeah, you'll find on this warm-up lap the lead car's got a bit of a game to play. They've got two things they've got to do. One is get as much temperature into the tyres as possible. The reason that you see on a warm-up lap cars weaving from left to right is to move the case of the rubber part of their tyre, the side part of the tyre. As that flexes, it actually builds up heat inside the tyre. Anything that you sort of bend a lot, even like a piece of plastic to break it, you bend it a lot, it gets hot, and that's what they're doing to the tyres. Now, the lead cars also, while they're doing that, they don't want to rush around and get round to the grid for the start too early, because if they do, they have to sit on the start with their engines running and they'll tend to overheat, particularly in a hot day like today. And the other point too is that between walls like this, all the way, there are walls all the way around which make everything just that little bit hotter.
Okay, well, Neil Crompton's in car number 7, the Coca-Cola Commodore. How does it look from your seat, Neil?
How are you going this morning, guys?
Neil Crompton getting ready for the start of this 6-lap event, and a great shot of Neil there on camera. Neil, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you, mate.
He either can't hear us or is...
It's pretty hard to hear you, though. It's pretty noisy in here, as you can appreciate.
Neil, coming up to the rear of the grid after those problems you had yesterday, what's it going to be like bringing this car from the rear and hopefully somewhere near the front?
Yeah, well, we had a very bad run yesterday. Made a mistake in the chicane, as you saw, on Network 10, and then I had an engine problem which put us out of the event, so we're at the back of the grid, but I'll do my very best to try and make a few spots and not bend the car.
How's the heart rate?
Sorry, I missed that, mate.
How's the heart rate, Neil?
I think you said how's Bradley, I'm not sure, but if that's what you did say, Bradley's all right. He's a bit sore in the rib cage. He knocked himself around pretty badly yesterday in the little Audi, and but he's laughing and joking and being a normal Bradley boy this morning, so I think he'll go right. I think he's about 12th, so he's got a bit of a show of maybe getting up amongst it, but I'm just the tail gunner taking care of business back here.
Neil, as soon as that start goes, the first chicane, there are going to be cars everywhere. You're right at the back. What's the plan? Just try and keep your thumbs well back from the edges, is it?
The only thing I think I picked up then, I think it was Gricey saying, when I get to the first chicane, there's cars everywhere. What's the plan? The plan's to pass everybody, get in front, and increase the lead. It's the normal plan. Avoid the chaos, mate.
Yeah, you got the question right. I'm not sure about the answer, Neil.
Nobody's ever sure about my answers, so anyway, I better get back to work here. I've got no idea what you blokes are saying. I think it's in English, but I'll press on.
Thank you, Neil, and we do wish you good luck too in car number 7, the Coca-Cola Commodore, carrying the Network 10 Sport race cam for this event as they come around now to grid up for the start of this 6-lap race. John Bowe on pole position, Peter Brock alongside the man to watch, Dick Johnson, with the fastest lap yesterday. What's your advice to Dick at the moment, Alan?
Just nose down. He's really got to pull a good start. 6 laps, starting position is so important, but then so too is this first chicane. Everybody has got to try and keep their nose clean there, because the race really doesn't start from a tactical point of view till after the first chicane. I'm sure they're all pretty experienced drivers. Having said, I'm sure they'll have a safe run through. Who knows?
Let's look at the starter. He's got his finger poised for the red button. We're only seconds away for the start of this EA Sports Group A touring car race from the Gold Coast. Watch for the red light. The moment it turns to green, they're away. These engines rev to something like 7,500 revs, 600 horsepower, 6-speed gearboxes. Watch for the green. Racing, and a great start too from Dick Johnson, but look at Alan Jones.
Jonesy's got a top start. He's going to try and have a little push through. Oh, you're giving him a niggle on the back tide.
So it's Johnson and Brock almost side by side, and also Bow now leads Brock, Jones, Johnson, Lyons.
Dick's got the push, got the squeeze on the outside there. I think he missed the wall, but they're all still getting... Yeah, we've got a clean start through the first chicane.
Okay, as they touch up around 200 k's, back to third gear through the no fear chicane. And now heading down towards the bottom end of the track. This is a hard one, a hard turn left, and a big stop on the brakes, Alan Grice.
And Perkins and Ingle are the first movers. Jones is into third, and then it's Perkins, Ingle, yes. Perkins, Ingle, and then Dick. I think Dick's come out of that bit of a scuffle. No, it's actually Ingle in front of Perkins, and then we've got Dumsney, the NASCAR man. He's backed into the wall, but he's fired it up. He's back in the race. Almost take Lowndes out now. He's had some strife. Boy, he's right down the back of the field. I missed that one.
Okay, let's watch them through the first chicane up the back straight. It's John Bow, winner here yesterday, followed by Peter Brock, Alan Jones, and there you see Russell Ingle doing a great job too in the Castrol Perkins Commodore, followed by Larry Perkins, the boss himself, through the Foster chicane, third gear through here.
Keen to make some time up there. Look at Jonesy right across them, right across the curbs.
Okay, here's a replay of the Max Dumsney.
Yeah, just locked the rears by this look, turned in, the tail's gone around, just kissed, no damage, but back into the race. But then Lowndes came through after that. He's certainly had a problem.
And Bow already opened up a good 5 or 6 car lengths on Peter Brock as they head through Queensland curves and towards the top end of the circuit here at Surfers Paradise. It's a 4.5 kilometre circuit, and through the hairpin, which gives them the run onto the main straight.
That's a great shot of them coming out there. Look at him keeping that car straight, but the foot is on the floor. Great run onto the straight. I think he'll use that little bit of a run to pull out a little bit down the straight. And Brock, well, hasn't sort of come to grips with Bowie today.
5 laps to go. So it's still Bow, Brock, Jones, Ingle, Perkins, Johnson, Seaton, Scaife, Richards, Faulkner, and Ellery that round out the top 11.
And Bow's he hasn't missed a curve yet. He's very consistent. He's got the lot.
Yes, he's dominating this race so far. Dunlop tyres versus Bridgestone tyres in the case of Peter Brock. And Dunlop tyres too on Larry's.
Engle's got past Alan Jones. That's a great move. That's a great move for him.
And this is a man who's virtually new to Group A touring car racing. Won Bathurst last year with Larry Perkins.
Oh, he's giving it the workout under brakes too, and off the corner. He's looking very strong. He's looking like he might be poking up to Brock here in the next half a lap or so.
Yeah, it's a quick-looking car too, and this man has raced overseas in Formula 4, did a great job over there, in other categories of motor racing too. Came back to base himself in Australia, was picked up by Perkins last year, and in many cases was responsible for Perkins' great drive from last to first in last year's Tooheys 1000.
He's certainly picking Brock up.
We're riding with Neil Crompton in the Coca-Cola Commodore. Heading up towards the first chicane on the back straight. Call this one for Alan. Let's have a listen.
Well, I think that's Lansvale in front of him. Into third, into fourth, into fifth. And now he'll whistle back through the gears. 1, 2, 3, back into third. Playing across the curb. Oh, Neil, that hit the wall.
Just touching 200 k's about now. Back to second.
Nice and tight. Should be picking Lowndes up. He's just I'm sorry, not Lowndes. It's Ashby, I'm pretty sure, in front. Well, no, it's a Falcon. It's pretty hard to pick there.
May well be Romano's car. Now back on the main straight with 4 laps to go. It's still John Bow, who's opened up a big gap now on Peter Brock. Almost 2 seconds on Peter Brock. Half a second back to Russell Ingle, who's just picked up about 1.2 seconds on...
Ingle's sitting all over the top of Brock at the moment.
Alan Jones, but yes, look at... this is the battle to watch.
He looks very strong under brakes, Ingle. That's where he's picking Brock up, is under brakes. Lowndes is in the pits. He's certainly... that's why he slipped back through the field so quickly. Don't know what the problem is. Out of the car, he's taking no further part.
Well, not been a good weekend for young Craig Lowndes in car number 15. The pit talk this weekend has been that he signed a multi-year contract that's going to take him through to Formula 1. We're waiting for that to be formally announced, but in the meantime, Alan Jones in 3:01. The Falcon, built and raced here from headquarters on the Gold Coast.
Looks like Jones is starting to get back onto Ingle's tail, actually, but look at Bowie. He's just very comfortable now. Brock's seem to be holding the spot. Perkins is going to put some pressure on Jones. Very clean through there, Jonesy. Come on, get up on the curves and have a bit of a go.
Yes, mate, you drove with this man at Bathurst last year. Finished second outright in one of the Glen Seaton Falcons, so you'd know all his faults.
Oh, well, you've just got to stir the man up. But I keep telling him that open wheelers are for Sheilas. He doesn't have a part of it. Although now that he's in a tin top himself, a car that's got doors, he seems to think they're the right way to go.
So it's Ford versus Commodore. Commodore, Ford, Commodore, Ford, Commodore, Ford. Nothing wrong with the parity in this race.
Nothing wrong with the parity here, that's for sure. It seems to be a little... I wonder if here's a good shot. Engels really working through there. Jones is working hard through them. Come on, get in further over that curve. There's another dead. That's Lowndes' dead car. But I wonder if Engels' initial charge was because he had some soft tyres and they're just losing effect of it, because Brock now seems to be just easing away from Engel. So it may well be.
As they head down the main straight with only 3 laps to go of this EA Sports Group A touring car race here from the Gold Coast. Johnny Bow just touching 251 k's as he goes down the straight there.
I think Engel, who's in car 8 and Scaife in 2, I think they may have incurred a bit of a penalty for too much curb hopping. Boy, how do you pick them out? They're all having a bit of a go at it, but Engel and Scaife, we've not seen much of Scaife, but Engel's certainly been getting across the curbs.
I thought it was a case of follow the leader, but you can see Brow has still fallen back from Peter Brock has fallen back from John Bow. We'll run through the first 10 for you. So it's Bow leading from Brock, then Engel, Jones, Alan Jones, not Bradley Jones, Dick Johnson, who's in 5th spot at the moment, Mark Scaife, Perkins, Seaton, Longhurst and Stephen Richards round out the top 10 as they head up the back straight one more time. Laps running out of this race now for Peter Brock, and Bow just keeps disappearing into the distance, but this is the battle. This is going to be an interesting one. It's Brock and Russell Engel.
Engel just doesn't seem to be able to get back to that half car length that he had on Brock before. I wonder if that's the thing. Maybe he's the Dunlop that he's chosen is a tad soft. It was terribly good for him in the first couple of laps. You can't believe, I mean, I know it's ridiculous to say, well, there's a little bit of a parking.
Car 28,
yeah,
the
just
Kevin
let
Waldock.
it come off, thank you. Just stay there and wait for the green light.
And all the action has been through that chicane, so it must be very slippery on the entrance to that chicane.
Yes, and rear brake lock up. It's really the thing you've got to be careful of in these cars. The fronts get very, very hot, and the rear brakes then start to bite, and it's very easy to swap ends of these cars when the rear brakes lock up. That looked like that happened again.
Brock very tidy through the Queensland curves. Still maintaining that 1.6, 1.8 second gap. Johnny Bow is managing to maintain over Peter Brock.
Well, there's Engel certainly was across that curve. There's no doubt about that.
So 1.8 seconds between race leader John Bow, second place Peter Brock, as they cross the line now with 2 laps to go of this touring car race. 2 laps to go. Can Peter Brock do it? I don't think so, Alan Grice. Looks like Johnny Bow's pretty well got this one sewn up.
Yes, he's looking pretty well. Brock certainly has moved at him just a little, but with 2 laps to go, I think you'd have to have a pogo stick to get over the top of John Bow to get past him. And I can't see a pogo stick in that Commodore.
Well, even if you get behind him, it's pretty hard to get past him.
Well, there's no doubt about that. It's a very wide car on a narrow track.
Bow, Brock, Engel, Jones, Johnson, Scaife, Perkins, Seaton, Longhurst and Richards. And John Bow, oh, there's the Mitre 10 Falcon, the Mark Larkham car. Had a big off too.
Yeah, got the front of it all untidy and nasty. You'll have a little bit of trouble getting out because the thing's bogged.
Yeah, that's been a big hit too. He's gone in quite hard on the front left hand.
Plenty of yellow flags there. He swapped ends way back up there in the... Here we are. Rear's locked the other way. Gone around. And he's got the tyre wall. And then, of course, the car behind him has just smacked him across the nose.
Yeah, so he's actually hit another car with the front right-hand corner of the car, but backed into the wall on the left-hand side. Let's look at the replay from Neil Crompton's car.
Oh, Neil, turn left as Finnegan clouts him, and Finnegan sideways. Neil saying, just a moment, and the heart's in the mouth.
Yes,
and he missed the lot. Well done, Neil.
The heartbeat went from about 185 to about 250, I would have thought, in that instant second.
Let's hope it's back to 180.
John Bow, car number 1. The most winningest driver in Group A in the past couple of seasons. He had 11 straight pole positions out of 13 races last year, and the form continues this year. Yeah,
he's the class of the field. That package is the class of the field. He's so smooth, and the car works so well. I mean, when he hits the ripple strip, the suspension does the work. The chassis doesn't jump all over the place. You see these other cars when they hit the ripple strips, the whole car lurches and leaps in the air, but not that one.
Because he's had tremendous experience too, Alan. I mean, he's not just driven touring cars. He's driven open wheelers, he's driven sports cars, he's been Australian champion in a number of categories. He won the 12-hour Eastern Creek race with Dick Johnson in a Mazda last year, won the Tooheys 1000 with Dick the year before.
And he's not youth deprived either, Craig. That's the next thing you're going to say, I'm sure.
John Bow through the Foster chicane. Up to about 7,500 revs. Very fast around this circuit. We heard John Smalls earlier tell us they're only 21 seconds a lap slower than Indy cars.
See how smooth the car is there. Same here. There's quite a lot of bumps in that braking area, but the suspension soaks them up. The same on the way out. The car will move, but not the big tail out slide. I mean, that's quick. He's doing a great job.
Very, very tidy driver. Very rarely do you see the car out of shape unless he's going for a super quick qualifying time. He's very spectacular in qualifying. We always thought this car had the race speed for the weekend, even though Mark Scaife put his Commodore on pole.
Look there, that's a classic example. The suspension went over the ripple strip, not the car. The chassis just sat there saying, yep, I'm fine, I'm happy.
So you keep all four wheels on the ground, let the suspension work as hard as you can. You've got maximum traction.
And then you can get straight back on the noise, yes. But while the thing's bouncing, the whole chassis is bouncing, you can't put your boot into it. You don't go quickly.
Well, Brock still hanging in there.
Eagle just lined that one up and almost followed by the wall.
Still 1.8 seconds behind with a 2-second gap back to Russell Ingall, and Alan Jones another 2 seconds behind him. So it's pretty static as they come up to...
It's pretty static racing, but anybody that likes to watch race cars, they're really seeing a great package working there. Brock's getting closer, but with only... I think we're on the final lap. Just this is the run to the flag. Bowie, I'll just let him close up and complete, I think, his 100% record at Indy. I think he's won everything 4 out of 4 since he's been here. What a great result.
John Bow for Shell FAI takes the checkered flag at this 6-lap event here from the Gold Coast Bartercard Indy Carnival 96 in a great finish from Peter Brock, Russell Ingall, Alan Jones and Dick Johnson. And there's Bow winding down there.
And then just for the record, Mark Scaife, Larry Perkins, Glenn Seaton, Tony Longhurst and Steve Richards, the first of the privateers in number 10.
So, how would Johnny Bow be feeling now, Alan? Fairly happy, I would have thought.
Oh, yes. All of a sudden you start to realise how hot you are now. You don't for those 6 helter-skelter laps, but now he'll be saying, "Oh, that was hot there," and he'll be getting ready to complain to the crew when he gets out. "Give him a drink and give us a towel," and, "Oh, it was hot out there, it was tough." But he didn't think one word of that for the last 6 laps, I can assure you.
John Bow and Peter Brock side by side, and when I guess you add up their combined age, they'd be almost as old as Murray Carter.
Settle.
John Bow, first outright, followed by Peter Brock. Russell Ingall third, Alan Jones in the fourth. Another good result for Alan Jones, 4th outright. Dickie Johnson started 3rd, finished 5th in this event. 6th outright went to Mark Scaife. Good drive through the field after starting 10th in the Commodore. Larry Perkins, 7th outright. Glenn Seaton, 8th. Tony Longhurst in the Castrol Ford, 9th. John Faulkner, 10th. Alan Grice, great race. We'll see another round of the Touring Car Championship coming up pretty soon. But no doubt about it, Johnny Bow has dominated this event from the Gold Coast today. We've got more action to come, so don't go away. This is Indy Carnival.